Hello everyone, this is Ravi. I'm the speaker and the host of this webinar series. Thank you so much for joining today. To start the conversation, let me share my screen and please confirm if it is visible to you. Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, Nitesh says yes, we can see the screen. Okay, one more quick sanity check. Is my voice loud and clear? Am I audible properly? Kindly confirm. Thank you so much. So let's begin our conversation. So we are visiting for the second time in the ACE-PMP examination in 2020 webinar series, which is a response to Ask a PM question initiative to help aspiring PMP uh, or project management professionals, right? So I received a lot of questions from the PMP aspirants about several topics. So this webinar series is construed to answer those questions. So I have set up such 4 webinars in this series, and these webinars will help you get a better understanding about how to deal with PMP. All right. So this is the second webinar, and today we are going to discuss agile concepts in PMBOK 6th edition. Okay. So there are a lot of questions around what is the relationship of PMBOK and agile, right? So all these things I'm going to clarify in this webinar. A little bit about my professional background. I have around 20 years of experience in strategic management, product development, new product introduction, and operations management. And at RX Agile, I work as Chief Product Architect or Chief Product Manager, and I'm responsible for product development and strategy. Apart from this role, I also lead the project management and agile practices. If you want to know more about what we do at RX Agile, do visit www.rxagile.com and explore our training and consulting services. A brief about my professional credentials. I hold 3 credentials from PMI: PGMP, PMP, and PMI SCP. I'm a professional Scrum product owner. I'm a certified Agile coach and a Kanban management professional as well. I'm an active SPC, say program consultant, and I'm a certified PMOCP, and I do consulting in the space of project management office. So that's brief about myself. So let's move on towards beginning of the webinar with some quick pointers, some ground rules that we need to follow. Kindly switch off your video so that we can conserve the bandwidth. Do post your questions or comments in the chat box. I would be reviewing them throughout the webinar as well as towards the end of the webinar. Use your mic when required. Feel free to use it. The controls are with you. All right, but only use it when you feel that you need to talk to me. Otherwise, your questions and comments through the chat box can still work. Lastly, recording of the webinar will be made available to all registered participants, and you can access it from our YouTube channel as well as the Facebook page of RxHI. And in a couple of days, you will receive a notification from our team how to access these recordings. So with this note, let me formally welcome all of you to this webinar, and let's get started with the agenda, what we are going to see. So first topic would be why Agile in PMBOK 6. We will discuss the relationship of project management and Agile. And then I will spend some time helping you understand how to get hang of these Agile concepts which are discussed in PMBOK 6. And precisely I have covered 2 examples, and I believe that with these 2 examples, you will get an understanding how agile concepts are placed or positioned in PMBOK 6. And of course, lastly, we will have a QA session, and I would be more than happy to take up your questions and address them to the best of my abilities. All right. So this is how the webinar is lined up. Let's get started. So to begin with, here is, some patterns I have seen, or you might have also seen on several forums. So one of the classic is project management versus agile. There's a lot of discussion around that. There is a discuss or sort of an abuse around waterfall versus agile. There is also discussion about is project management relevant in today's business context, right? So there is some sort of a, extremist view that is project management getting extinct or things like that. We also see about agile is everywhere, right? I have also seen some discussions happening around we need agile project managers, and when PMBOK was getting ready in the sixth edition, there was also a discussion that PMBOK is changing to agile, right? So this all these things we have been seeing, at least I have been seeing, right? So let me make a conscious effort to draw a relationship or synergies among project management and agile. That is what I'm gonna do here. Okay, and let me also tell you, this is what precisely PMBOK sixth edition has also tried doing. If you are also aware about the upcoming PMBOK 7th edition, which is due launch in 2021, there is a lot of emphasis on agile as well as traditional project management. And I can tell you with that confidence because I'm also one of the review contributors of PMBOK 7th edition, and my contributions has been gracefully accepted by PMI. So very proud about it and very happy that I could contribute with my knowledge and expertise. So, point is, there is definitely a relationship, right, between the project management and agile. That is what you need to understand. And you also need to understand how PMBOK has drawn those synergies among these two domains. Okay, so this is what we are going to discuss. So that's the reason you see the title here. Why there is a mention of agile in PMBOK, right? Even though it is project management centered, then why agile, right? Let's discuss this very important question. And to give you an understanding of this, or to give you an understanding of the synergies among these two, we need to understand a small example. So this is what I have presented in front of you. It's a journey from A to B, B to C, and C to C. And you're practicing project managers, and I'm sure you must have read PMBOK, right? So we in PMBOK there is a definition: project is a temporary endeavor undertaken to create unique products, services, or results. So in summary, we can say that project is nothing but a journey that moves from point A to point Z. That is nothing but the initiation to closure. It's a journey, and whatever tools, principles, practices, knowledge you use across this journey, collectively we call it as project management. All right, this is what project and project management. So let's take a very small example. Let's assume that you are moving from destination A to destination B. Let's say it is 1000 miles journey, and you are on this journey in your car, either alone or with your partner. Anything is okay. Okay. So that's the example. So now let's understand how this can happen. Okay. So here I'm presenting a situation. So first situation is you may know the path very well. Okay, so in this case, the assumption is that you have traveled this journey for several times. The path is known to you, right? It's not something new. So given this situation, we can say that if you are driving the car, duration is predictable. You will have a fair idea how much time it takes. Since you have traveled this path several times, the level of uncertainty is also less. And because of these two key attributes, we can say that you have a better control on the journey. All right. So this is first situation. So situation is it's a project traveling from destination A to Z, and these are the attributes associated with this journey. Now let's take another case. So I have changed the case. So let us say you are moving from destination 1 to Z or A to Z, but in this case you do not know the path very well. Assume that this is a journey you are traveling for the first time. And if this is the case, then there are certain attributes which are associated with this. For example, duration is not predictable, not able to predict. Okay, because first time journey. Because of this, the level of uncertainty is pretty high, and since the uncertainty is very high, you have less control of the journey. This is what you will notice if the path is not well known. But again, it is a project. It's a journey which is moving from A to Z. Now let's pull these two situations different together. So we can say that these two situations are different and hence they need a different treatment. Okay, let's put them together. So this is the first situation. You know the path very well. So technically, we call it as a predictive environment. And a predictive environment shows the attributes which you are seeing on the right side. And I have explained it. The bottom part is you do not know the path very well. So this environment or this ecosystem, we call it as an adaptive. And an adaptive environment has certain attributes which you are seeing again on the right hand side. Duration is not predictable, high uncertainty, and less control on the journey. So what I'm trying to convey to you is that given that there is a project which is a journey from one end to another end, right? The perspective would be different based on whether it is predictive environment or whether it is adaptive environment. Okay, so it means that we need a different treatment to deal with these two environments. So applying set of agile methodologies and associated principles of iterative and incremental way of development is a better treatment to deal with the adaptive environment. This is what PMBOK has done. So PMBOK has acknowledged that if a journey has to happen, right, there are two ways of treatment to this. Predictive, which is our traditional way of management, and adaptive, where more agile way of working is required. And the idea that is been posted is I have written here. PMBOK 6th edition uses project management principles and practices as overarching theme and provides guidance on how these principles can be applied to projects which exhibit an adaptive environment. So this is what the overarching philosophy of PMBOK. So it has taken that journey as an overarching theme. Move from start to finish. Understand the ecosystem, whether it is predictive and adaptive, and based on that, choose an appropriate treatment. All right. So if you are working in an adaptive environment, the treatment we offer, it is the agile way of working, right? So this is very simplistic way of giving you an understanding about the differences between these two. Okay, but if you really want to understand what agile means, right, you definitely need a deeper level of understanding. Okay. Okay, now let's put these things together. So let us say this is journey moving from A to Z, right? And this journey to travel, you need some sort of knowledge, skill, expertise, tools, and techniques, right? So all these things are embedded within the 10 knowledge areas. And keeping this in tune with Agile, PMBOK has also given a commentary that how these knowledge, skills, tools, and techniques associated with this 10 domain knowledge can be applied effectively to a project which exhibits adaptive environment. This is how you need to read PMBOK. All right. So to give you further understanding how these agile concepts are utilized or used by PMBOK, I'm giving you two examples. One is agile release planning, second is iteration burndown chart. Okay, and I will explain you how these things are fitted within knowledge areas. In this case, this both the concepts are coming from schedule management knowledge area. So let's understand release planning first. Okay, what is release planning? I'm not talking about agile release planning. So what is the release planning? Here is an example I have given you of a mobile phone. Take any brand, whether it is Apple, Samsung, HTC, Nokia, or anything, right? And every 6 months or every year, we see that new launches of a model are done. For example, sometime back it was Apple 5, then it become Apple 6, Apple 7, 9, 10, so on and so forth. Several releases are uh, coming up, right? So what is this Apple 5 to Apple 10? This is nothing but a release. Every product, right, that is Apple 5 to Apple 6 is nothing but a release. And in this case, we can say that a release is nothing but set of certain features and functionalities. Those are offered to the customers for consumption. That's a release planning. Now, what is agile release planning? Let's assume that you are developing this phone, right? And there are certain simple features, right? So these simple features may qualify on the definition of a predictive environment, where things are pretty crystal clear and you have to give a lot of efforts, right? In that case, your planning process would be simple. But let's say you are trying to create a phone where features like what I can say, a personal assistant is available, right? Temperature sensing outside your car or nearby vicinity, that is also available. So such features, right, are typically classified under an adaptive environment because there is so much of uncertainty around that, right? So if you are dealing with such environment and trying to create a roadmap how features and functionalities will be released over a period of time, you can call it as a release planning of a product suitable for an adaptive environment. And this is what we call it as agile release planning. Okay. So now that you must have understood, if you go back to PMBOK, right, there are certain processes in schedule management where it starts from WBS, right? And after WBS, you can create activities, you can sequence them, right? And you can develop a schedule. So these things you can do in a predictive environment. But in an adaptive environment, perhaps these things will not work. We will have to take a more adaptive approach. So that's agile release planning. So these concepts are not new. Those who are familiar with earlier editions of the PMBOK, I have been reading PMBOK since it was in fourth edition. And from that edition, this concept was discussed as rolling wave planning. All right. So this is what agile release planning is. So I have just given you an example that considering different environments, how planning process can differ. All right. Another example I will give you is about burn down chart. Let's understand what is a burn down chart and then I will explain you what is iteration burn down chart. So for that I will have to make use of an Excel sheet. Let me open it up and I'll explain it. Give me a moment. One minute, I'm opening the Excel sheet. Stay with me for a minute. All right, the Excel sheet is up. Okay, fine. Please confirm if you are able to see the Excel sheet. Okay, thank you. Yep, I got the message. Okay, let me give you a very small example. Okay, let's say you like chocolates. I like chocolates, especially my two young sons. They like chocolate. So whenever I come from a foreign country, I definitely buy a bunch of chocolates. But I'm caring, but I'm a systematic father also. So I put some restrictions that how much chocolates my kids should be eating. Okay, so let's say one fine day I got 100 chocolates. So that is the total quota available with me. And now I have created a restriction that every day, right? So these are days 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and let's say 10. You need to eat maximum of 10 chocolates. So this is the maximum capacity I have allocated to them. No more than 10 chocolates are allowed in any given day. So in totality, this is 100 chocolates done. So day wise distribution is presented. This is limit or capacity. Now I am actually tracking how much my two kids are eating the chocolate. So this is day wise consumption. I am recording. So I recorded that on day 1, 10 chocolates were eaten or finished. Day 2, 9. Day 3, 11. Day 3, 13. And then 6. Day 5. So this is the consumption that I observed over 5 days. So this means at the end of 5 days, 49 chocolates were finished. So what is the cumulative consumption I have seen so far? Let's see that. Cumulative consumption on day 1 is 10. On day 2, it would be sum total of day 1 plus day 2 consumption, that is 10 plus 9, that is 19. Day 3 total would be 19 plus day 3, that is 30. Day 4 would be 30 plus day 4 consumption 13, that is 43. And on 5th day, total of 43 plus 6, that is 49 are consumed. So this is the total consumption. Now I'm also looking at how many are remaining on each of the day. So on day one, remaining would be total number of chocolates minus cumulative consumption. That is 90 are remaining. On day two, how much? 100 minus 90. Day three, 100 minus 30. Day four, 100 minus 43. Day 5, 100 minus 49. So there are 51 chocolates are left until day 5. So this is the data I received. Now let's make use of this data for visualization and intelligence. Let me show you that with a quick example here. Okay. So this is a horizontal axis. Let's create a vertical axis. Anyways, doesn't matter. These are days. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oops. What happened? Wait a minute, please. There is some issue here in the Excel sheet. It has come to normalcy. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. And these are the chocolates, right? So this is 25, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, and 100. Okay, these are number of chocolates. Now let's start plotting the data. So here I will use remaining chocolates as a data point. So I can say that on day one, see here, how many are remaining? 90. So this is day one and the remaining one is here, 90. So how much on day two? Remaining 81. So this is, excuse me, this is day 2 and remaining are 81 somewhere here. What is about day 3? 70. This is day 3, 70 chocolates are remaining. What is about day 4? 57 are remaining. 57 would be somewhere here. So day 4, 57 would be somewhere here. And day 5 it is 51 I can see. Okay, so day 5, 51 would be somewhere here. Now if you look at this is what is your trend and it is going like this. This is, we call it as a burn down chart. Okay, and to keep it proper, I will make use of a line. This is your burn down chart until day 5. So what this tells you? This tells you that how commodities are getting consumed over a period of time. So this is consumption of chocolate. So this is called as burn down chart. Now what is iteration burn down chart? This is, I'm adding here, iteration burn down chart. So in an adaptive environment, the concept is, can we deliver some meaningful work in a period of time? And that period of time is called as iteration. And this iteration could be 1 week, 2 week, 3 week, 4 week long, or even 6 week long, right? Typically people work with 2 to 4 weeks of iteration. So in this 2 to 4 weeks, right, there is some work that needs to be delivered. Okay, so let us say this work is scope or certain features. Okay, so I'm saying that for the purpose of simplicity, in week one or in one iteration, I was supposed to deliver 10 features. So now I am tracking whether I have delivered 10 or not. So in this case, day-wise consumption was 10 features. So it means 10 features delivered and 90 features are remaining. So if you replace this when if you replace this number of chocolates with number of features, you will get the same pattern. Okay, some agilists may say that we use story point and all those things, so I'm not going to discuss story point here. That is not the intent. The intent was helping you understand how these concepts can be used in an adaptive environment. Okay, so if you are using this concept with iteration, it becomes iteration burn down chart. Okay, so in traditional project management, we have control schedule process where we are trying to see how we are doing in terms of schedule. Using earned value management, we can understand how project is performing in terms of scope, time, and cost, right? So in this case, burn down chart is also an example that can tell you with reference to time how you are performing the work. That's burn down chart or iteration burn down chart. Hope that further explains you how these concepts are used in PMBOK, which is a convergence of both predictive and adaptive way of working. So I have given you two examples and I believe that is fairly clear to you. So just to sum it up, if you again treat a project as a journey moving from A to Z and the knowledge that is required to move from A to Z, if it is bundled in the 10 knowledge areas, right, you can use it in both type of environments, be it predictive or be it adaptive. That's what PMBOK is trying to communicate to you. And this pattern would be even more evident when you start with PMBOK 7th edition. All right. So with that note, I will stop my conversation here and I'm open for any questions. So I will be listening, not listening, I will be taking a look at the chat box. Kindly post your questions. So Bill has asked a question. I am taking a PMP examination in September, which is on 6th edition. Do I need to write the examination when it changes to PMBOK 7th edition? No, Bill, you don't need to write, right? Because if you are done with PMBOK 6th edition, you would be automatically qualified for PMBOK 7. This is as of now, unless and until we hear from PMBOK that they want to have some sort of a bridge courses for the people who have a PMP certification based on previous editions. That is something not known today. Thank you. Shweta has asked a question. Is it a good idea to write PMI ACP along with PMP? I think that would be really a good idea because you will get understanding of both the worlds, predictive and adaptive. Yep, please do that. Madhav has asked a question. Can we expect any questions on Agile in actual PMP examination? Madhav, you can. My students who have written examinations on sixth edition, they have said that they have seen a couple of Agile questions. But I have a speculation that those questions must be part of the pre-test or dummy question. They may not get counted on your actual PMP score. But answer is yes, you can expect some Agile questions. Yep. Anjan is asking a question. Am I supposed to read agile books? Are you asking this question to prepare for PMP? Answer may not be no, but if you want to do it to for your knowledge enrichment, yes, please do that. Perfectly all right. Ashima has asked a question. Is it better to write the exam now or when it changes to PIMBOK 7? Choice is yours, Ashima. No harm in that. I may say that if you are writing now, then upgrade your knowledge that is consistent with PIMBOK 7. Or if you feel that it makes sense for you to write when it changes to PIMBOK 7, please do that. That's your choice. No issues. Both options are good. All right. Thank you for posting this question. Rest of the questions again seem on the same line, right? Uh, do you conduct classes on Agile? Yes, I do conduct, but contact me offline so that I can give you more information about that. Okay. All right, since there are no further question coming in, guys. Okay, so let me call it of a day now. Let's close the webinar, but don't forget to join the upcoming webinars, right? Especially getting started with PMP certification that is happening tomorrow, and strategies to answer question on actual PMP that is happening day after tomorrow. So I'll be looking forward you to be part of that webinar. So with that note, saying thanks to all of you, and I would be closing the webinar now. Have a great day and see you in the next webinars. As far as the recording notification is concerned, you will hear shortly from us. Take care and bye.